Hello, my beautiful people. It is so good to be back. So, where to even start? I am sorry for the very extended break that I seem to have taken. I know many of you have been asking, where am I? What have I been doing? You will probably remember the video that I put out about acceptance of what you want and how to go about achieving that, and you know how that when we're truly honest with ourselves, our wants and our needs, and we start to really honour them, things and changes start to take place in our lives. Well, I can safely say that I am living proof that that process works. I am living proof. This new space that you see me in, that has made me so happy so far, and I'm sure will be accompanied by its very own challenges and lessons and twists and turns in my personal path, I have no doubt. So basically what's taken place is I have moved, and you know, I got exactly what I asked for: a new place to be, a new place to start, a new start effectively in my life, where I could start to and begin to start to flourish in a new way. So all of that aside, why are we here today? So, as many of you know, it is currently pretty much the end of November. We're heading into December soon, and we'll be heading into 2018 before we know it. So many of you know, tarot and astrology are not my only loves. I'm big into numerology as well. And the energy of this year, many of you that are on my Facebook, check it out, for the Radiant Reality Facebook, will remember that I put out a video at the beginning of the year explaining just why it was so important to know the energy and the vibration of the year. 2017 has been a 1 year. It's been a year of being a pioneer. It's been a year of fast and rapid change. It's been a year to get shit done. You know, I told you very much it was about being at the forefront. It was about leading from the front. It was about knowing what you absolutely had to do and actually doing it. That you wouldn't be able to sit behind the curtain anymore. That you wouldn't be able to hide behind this, that and the other anymore. You had to be very much at the forefront. Well, this year is about to change, and we are about to head into 2018. 2018, the numerology of 2018, gives us the number 11. How does it do that? 2 plus 0 is 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 8 is 11. 2018 is going to be an 11 year. We don't simplify master numbers. We never simplify master numbers. So you're left with, what are the master numbers firstly? 11, 22 and 33. They are the only master numbers in the school of numerology. They are very special numbers, and they carry a lot of very powerful energy. And given the fact that we're going into an 11 year for the entire world, I thought it was really important and very actually relevant for me to put this video out. So, what is 11? 11 is the first master number. 11 is the most innocent of the master numbers as well. It carries a certain type of energy of being penetrating to the point, or rather being astute through naivety. What do I mean by that? So 11 is a very childlike number. It's a very innocent number. It's a very pure number. It has links to the 11th sign of the zodiac, which is Aquarius. As many of you know, I am an Aquarian, and I love being one. I'm very proud of that fact. But this isn't about me. This is actually about all of us. This is about the collective, which again in itself is actually really interesting, because the energy of the year, the numerology that the year itself carries, is for all of us. It's about the world consciousness. It's about the tribe of the world and the energy that we're all going to be facing. How this plays out on a daily basis will vary and differ according to what your personal year number is, according to what your sign is, according to the environment that you live in. You know, it's a working process. This is kind of like a very broad blueprint for what sort of energy and events are going to take place over the course of 2018. So yeah, interesting as well, because like I said, you know, it's got links to, the number 11 has links to Aquarius. It's the only master number in the zodiac. You know, there are 12 signs, and all of the others would either be single digits, or you would, you know, 10 would give you back to 1, and 12 would give you back to the number 3. So, you know, it's quite special in that regard. And Aquarius itself as a sign is very much to do with the collective. It's all to do with people, it's all to do with the community, it's all to do with humanity, it's all to do with looking after people, knowing your tribe, becoming, you know, how the individual relates to the tribe, and more importantly, how the individual fits within the tribe. You know, Aquarius is a very unique sign, but it's also one that's very inclusive. So anyway, enough about that. Back to the energy of the number 11. So many of you, you know the stories and the myths about 1111, and its angels are watching, and you know the 1111 date, which is a portal, and all of that stuff. But you know there's some weight to that stuff, but it's more about the energy. It's more about the vibration. And the vibration of the number 11 is a really powerful one. Like I said, it's the most innocent of numbers. It's the most pure of the master numbers. You know, some people would argue that actually it's the 33, which represents the Christ consciousness. But that to me represents enlightenment, and it has more to do with transcending human life than actually interacting with human life, which is where the number 11 comes in. You know, again, the links to Aquarius, but more importantly, it's the first master number. It's the first step of elevation that the soul takes. So we're still in human form. The soul is still in human form, but it's learning to transcend some of those bonds. And therefore, it looks past the veil. It doesn't just think in terms of what can I do with this energy on a practical level. It starts to think about how can I take this energy internally and start to generate some form of spiritual power in the world. How can I demonstrate my innate spirituality in the world? And therefore, it's connected to all things like psychic phenomena. It's, you know, in terms of kids as well, when you think about kids, they'll say what's on their mind. They say what they feel. They don't hold anything back. You know, why has that person got, you know, weird hair? Or, you know, who didn't use it. One story actually that my friend always tells me, and it makes me laugh so much, is when she was little, one of her mum's friends came round to the house, and she said to her mum said to her when this lady had left, "Oh, she's so two-faced." Anyway, so this lady's come back to my friend's house another day, and my friend, you know, I think she was like 4 or 5 at the time, she's looking at the woman like this and like this. And the woman says to, you know, her mum, "Is there something wrong with your daughter?" And she says, "No, my mummy said you had 2 faces." You know, from out of the mouths of babes, like, children don't think about what they're saying because they're uninhibited. They're not tied to the same social structures and the same social conditionings that we are. And therefore, you know, that innocence and that naivety allows them to really speak what they feel. It allows them to see things as they truly are. It allows us to push past the bonds that humanity puts on us. You know, it allows us to transcend that in some way, shape or form. And that's what the energy of the number 11 is all about. And it's really interesting as well because, you know, we're in a 1 year this year, which is all about speaking up. Jupiter moved into Scorpio, which is pulling out all of those secrets. You know, it's Jupiter ain't playing no games in Scorpio right now. And you can see that in the way that it's playing out on the larger world scale. You can see with all of the, you know, the historic stuff that's coming out, with secrets that are coming out. And with that, you know, because for me, Jupiter is just as much about healing as it is, you know, expansion. And to heal something, you have to be able to transform it. And the only way that you can transform it is by really digging it up and having a look at it, which is Scorpio, and it's Jupiter. You know, it's magnified that energy. And so by pulling all of this stuff up and out, we're now going to start to, you know, once that healing takes place, we're going to be moving towards something that's a lot more spiritual. But in order to do that, you have to transcend something, and the only way that you can transcend it is to really allow those bonds to dissolve, to find a way to dissolve those bonds. So the energy of the number 11 is philanthropic. With this year ahead, I really believe that we're going to feel an energy of more humanity. People are going to reach out to each other. You're going to see a lot more of us trying to address and redress and help people heal their own wounds. We'll be looking at ways to do that for each other, but we'll also be looking at ways to do that for ourselves. And by healing our own baggage, we heal the world's baggage. That's how it works. You know, when you heal yourself, you heal the world, because the energy that you take out into the world is pure energy. It's clean energy that's been healed. You know, and that filters out in some way, shape or form. And for those of you that have seen my post on the age of the indigo child is dead, you know, look into that, because it will give you some kind of insight, again, on the Radiant Reality Facebook page. So yes, this year as well is going to be a very spiritual year. It's going to be a year of people really getting in touch with their own innate psychic abilities, with people tapping into mysticism. And this isn't going to be like a cult, because it's not about what's hidden. Like I said, you know, 11 is the master number of purity, of naivety, and therefore it's open. You know, if you look at it, it's a gateway. The door is open. The door is open for all of us to tap into our spirituality, for all of us to come forward now and say, actually, I have the gift of empathy. I have the gift of psychometry. You know, it's actually funny. Yes, we all have all gifts to varying degrees. How open we are to those gifts determines how much it will manifest and how much ability we have to express it. It's about your personal aptitude, you know, and your openness and willingness to explore and trust that gift. That's another tagline for the number 11. It's all to do with trust. It's all to do with divine trust, in trusting the spirit, in following the spirit. It's also to do with, like I said, philanthropy. This is about people looking at what can be done better, finding ways to say, actually, you know what, that can change, that needs to change, and how can I be an instrument for the change that I wish to see in the world? How can I benefit humanity? This is what the number 11 represents. It's all to do with, and like I said, it's mysticism, but it's not a cult. This isn't about hidden knowledge. It's about taking what is hidden and putting it out there for all to see. Very interesting with the astrological stuff that we're seeing taking place at the moment, you know, under the 1 year, under that, you know, this force of drive it forward, of, you know, no holds bound, bam! And then all of a sudden we find ourselves in an 11 year where everything then opens up. Really, really powerful energy, and the symbolism there as well is amazing. I mean, we're coming out of a 1 year and going into an 11 year, you know, which is 1 multiplied. But it's the double one. It's the double hit of that energy. It's 1 including itself, you know, and it's not necessarily about a copy. It's about a mirror. You know, this is 1 to its highest degree. This is, you know, it's not just about me, because it carries the energy of the 2, but you don't simplify the master numbers. So therefore it's that mirror image. It encompasses the yin and the yang. It's the whole, it's the complete. You know, this is the first gate that we pass through in our lives. You know, this card, although in the tarot it would actually be the Justice card, it actually has very strong links to the High Priestess. What is the High Priestess? The High Priestess is the mother. It's the first gate that we pass through. You know, when you think about how a baby comes into the world, that is exactly it. You know, this is the first master number. It's the master number that's just been born. It's the soul that has evolved and said, right, I've had this human experience, now let me bring the spirituality into that human experience so that it becomes better for all people involved. You know, a really, really powerful number. This is going to be about inventiveness as well. I really feel like technology is going to go for a massive, massive spark. You're going to see people left, right and centre coming forward with new ideas. And these new ideas are all going to pertain to 2 things, I believe. 1, it will be healing people in some way, shape or form. So new methodologies. So this could be even like different types of energy healing, new types of Reiki, new types of hands-on healing, new discoveries about how that stuff actually works from a scientific point of view. And the other part of this is going to be about technology. It's going to be about new inventions that actually make life better for people, that are accessible for all people. And, you know, I really feel like a big part of this is going to be things like You know, we've got the plastic in the oceans that's becoming a real huge problem. I think we're going to see leaps and bounds in you know, finding renewable sources of containers of, you know, things to use, like biodegradable materials. And I also think that we're going to rely more heavily on utilising ways to break down and destroy what we've already created, so that we can lay the foundations for something purer, so that we can lay the foundations for something that, you know, effectively allows us to clean our environment. Environmental issues you're going to see really start to come to the fore under this, and it's not going to come from a point of extremism of like, yeah, you're ruining the fucking planet, let's protest. It's going to come from a place of, this is the one thing that the whole of humanity has to share. How about we show it more respect? How about we show it more love, more care, more attention? And by doing so, you start to elevate the consciousness of the planet, and you start to heal the planet, because you're paying conscious attention to it with the intention of healing it. That's the other thing about this number as well. It's about your intention. This is going to talk directly to... Oh, I've got tingles up my back as I'm talking about this one. This is going to talk directly to your integrity. This is going to talk directly to what is important, how you... I don't know if you guys can see that. Is that any good? No, the light is too bright, I believe. Your intention, your integrity. This is going to talk deeply about what your intentions are. You know, are you walking your talk? You see, you know, if you're coming and you're saying, oh, you know, my message is of love and it's of helping people and but really, actually, underneath that, it's all about just making money or finding a way to profit from something that happens to be popular at the time, you'll be found out. Last year, you had to lead by example. This year, you're walking the path and you're living the path. And if you're not found to be doing that, you will be exposed. It doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you're in, whether you're the top tier, whether you're the bottom rung. It is irrelevant. What is relevant, what is important, is that your intention and your integrity are intact. You know, the interesting thing as well is, like, as an example, if you're trying to undermine somebody this year, not only will you be found out and exposed to be seen to be doing that, but people will work you out very, very quickly, because the number 11 is all about purity, it's all about openness, it's all about spirituality, but it's about being open. Like I said, it's not about a cult. It's about mysticism. It's about true mysticism, which is about being open and sharing all divine knowledge with all people, regardless of who you are or what walk of life you come from. And so, like I said, if you're undermining anybody this year, if you are, you know, secretly hating on somebody, if you're that person that's trying to hide behind the scenes, this year, 2017, you know, you couldn't really do that. But next year, it won't even be a case of you'll be able to do it for a while. You just will be flat out exposed. You will be seen in full light. And the chances are it's going to backfire on you. If you're putting that kind of energy out there, I don't care what the purpose is. Oh, I was doing it for that person's own good, or I was doing it for the greater good, or whatever. You'll be exposed. It really doesn't matter. You know, the energy and the vibration of the number 11 is about purity of heart. It's about honesty. It's about intention. It's about integrity. And, you know, like I said, this is going to speak directly to your integrity. You know, do you believe what you're trying to sell other people? You know, if you're a salesman in any kind of way, shape or form, do you believe in that product? Are you living proof that that product works? You know, going back to what I was saying about being living proof that the power of intention and manifestation, you know, it works. You put out your deepest desires, but the way that you put out your deepest desires and that you connect to them and you manifest them in your life is by being brutally honest, is by opening up that can of worms and saying, well, actually, you know what, this hurts, this it makes me feel some kind of way, and I'm acknowledging that feeling, and I'm saying that, okay, it might not, you know, be what I want it to be now, but I'm willing to put the work in and the effort and the time that it takes to create what I want, to manifest that. And universe, do what you must so that I can attain or achieve what it is that I'm setting out to achieve and attain, you know. And I've seen this in motion now, so next year I personally will be very, very conscious of it. I will be checking my intentions. I will be checking, is my integrity intact? I believe it is, because that's one of the things that I hold most dear. And every time, as a, you know, an Aquarius, every time actually that I've ever tried to not, you know, do things the right way or whatever, I've been found out and I've been slapped down by the universe for it, and quite bloody rightly so. You know, there's no point. I've never been one of these people that works behind the shadows, because it's just not me. I've got too big a personality. I don't seem to ever be able to hide, even when I want to. And I'm just like, I don't want people to look at me. I just want to be left alone. It doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, that is the energy that I was given, you know, and it is the energy that I carry. And I feel like this is going to open up for everybody next year. It's going to be about what your intention is, what your integrity, you know, is your integrity intact? You know, are you building people up, or are you tearing them down secretly? Are you being a Judas? Because if you are, you'll be found out. You know, it doesn't matter what walk of life you're in, if you're being a Judas, you will be found out this year. The 11 will be just like my friend saying, why have you got two faces? You know, it's that kind of energy. What else? Psychic, spiritual phenomena, people tapping into their innate abilities, people finding ways that they can help other people, finding ways that they can do their bit for charity, you know. And this isn't necessarily even out there in, you know, oh look, I'm doing this for charity, or look, I'm doing that. It's like, you know, those small little things that you can do every day to make other people's experience of this life better. What else? What else about the number 11? It's, you know, like I said, it's mysticism, it's spiritual power, spiritual cleansing as well. You know, this is going to be another energy that really comes forward. I can only tell you, last night, and that's currently the 19th of November as I'm recording this video, last night I had probably the darkest dream I have had for around maybe 10 to 11, maybe 12 years. And, you know, anybody that knows me knows I used to suffer from night terrors really bad. You know, really deep, horrible, dark dreams. You know, when I was a child right through to probably about my mid-20s. Now 32, so, yeah, you know, give or take 10 years or so, or, yeah, whatever. You know, but last night I had a really dark, very intense dream, and I thought to myself, like, you know, are my night terrors coming back? Is this what it's about? And I don't think it's that, actually. I think this is all to do with the purging, the spiritual purging, you know, cleansing the spirit, cleansing. And when you cleanse your spirit, you're also cleansing your subconscious, I believe. The two are intrinsically linked, because your subconscious is the one that takes the most time to train. It takes it's the one that takes the most time to change its pattern. Why? Because it's ingrained innately with your soul. You know, and when you make soul changes, when you make soul cleanses, they're really never easy processes. You know, and they're also not fast processes. So that's the other thing about this year as well. The 11 year will have a feeling of just stretching on and on and on. And it's funny because up until this, and including this year, 2017, it's just been like, and you're like, fuck, you know, I blinked and it's like the end of the year already, like what's going on? Next year, it won't be the case. Next year's going to be one of those years that goes very slowly for all of us. And by the end of it, I think everybody's going to look back and say, wow, I've achieved all of this in the space of 1 year. How did I do that? Well, it will be to do with the pace of the year, because the master numbers aren't bound to time like the personal numbers, or the mundane numbers, if you want to. I mean, none of the numbers are mundane in their energy. They're all very powerful and very vibrant, because they've all got their own energy. But the master numbers aren't bound to linear time. They're not bound to our human social construct of what time is about, and, you know, movement. They're all about, you know, progression. They're all about, okay, now I have arrived, just like the fool who's got the knapsack on his back. Now I've arrived, let me unpack my bag of tricks, my tools. Now that I've got the time, or no, it's not even about having the time. Now that I'm here, now that I've arrived, now that I've elevated, let me unpack the gifts that I have. This is tapping into your own personal gifts, your own spiritual gifts. What are they? How are they going to benefit the world? How are they going to benefit you? If you're benefiting the world, you are benefiting yourself. The more you tap into your innate personal gifts, whether that be your sensuality, and that's not necessarily just in terms of like the sexual stuff, your sensuality, how you interact and experience the world and people. If you're living the best of that and really acknowledging what it is that makes you tick, you can teach others to do the same. And when you have a real handle on your gifts, you can utilise that. You'll be put in the right place at the right time to use those. And that's why I say it's about unpacking your personal toolbox. What is your toolbox? What are your tools? How do they work? Do you have enough of a handle on them to find yourself suddenly presented with a situation and say, I can fix that? And not have it be about the fact that, yeah, I got the right tools for that, I can fix that. It's not about that. It's about, wow, need has presented itself to me. Isn't it amazing that I've been guided to be in this place and at this time to utilise that skill and that gift of mine to help somebody else or the wider world? The 1 year was all about self. It was all about leading from the forefront and being a pioneer and not being afraid to stand up and speak your mind. The 11th year is going to be about, now that I've discovered how to do that, how do I unpack my tools from my personal toolbox, my spiritual gifts? How do I apply them in the world? Okay, so this is going to be a really interesting year. 2018 is going to be a very powerful year for all people. And I think by the end of it, we are all going to be so much more in touch with ourselves, with what we're about, with what our personal mission is, with what our personal soul statement is. I remember when I was probably about 17, I read this little blurb and it said, my personal mission is saving the world one person at a time. And I really liked that because I thought, you know what, it allows me to help people on a personal level, and to know that actually I'm not going to be able to save the whole world. I don't have a God or a saviour complex. I just know that I'm here to help people in some way, shape or form. And by tapping into what my personal gifts are, I'm able to do that. Whether it's these videos, whether it's my love of tarot, astrology, numerology, Kabbalah, whether it's just the work that I do on a mundane level, where my customer service aspect comes in and I'm kind to people and I do my best to resolve whatever their issues are, and that filters out into the world. Sometimes the as they say in that film Wanted, we're not sure about how far the ripples of what we do go. All we know is that those ripples go, and it's important that we make them. And so yeah, I think this is going to be an amazing year for all of us. I think it's going to be one of really delving deep, and I think that once Jupiter is finished ripping out everybody's secrets and bringing light into them, I think we are going to really start to I think we're really going to start to see the best of humanity after this year. I'm not going to say that there won't be difficult times, that there won't be horrible things that happen. Unfortunately, that is the world, it's the human experience. But the number 11 is teaching us to extend, or rather to transcend the human experience, to bring our spirituality, to bring some of the magic and the light and the beauty from the other realms and put it into our everyday life. And by doing so, it lifts the vibration, it lifts the consciousness of the world. I wish you all an abundant and beautiful and prosperous, happy, loving and light and amazing 2018. Stay tuned for a lot more videos, a lot more content, and a lot more delving into what we're here for and how we utilise those skills. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for being a part of Radiant Reality, and I hope to see a lot more of you going forward. Take care and enjoy your 2018.